My in-laws tried to con me during our family vacation, but little did they know I owned their vacation house. I'm 35. I had always been the quiet one, the wife who didn't seek attention and preferred to remain in the background while my husband, Joe, and his family took center stage. For 5 years, I had kept my true career a secret from them, downplaying the fact that I was the CEO and owner of a resort group. But when they came to me with their condescending request, everything changed. It all began with what seemed like an innocent family beach vacation, one that Joe's family had planned for the entire summer. These annual trips were a Smith family tradition, supposedly meant for bonding, but really just another opportunity for my mother-in-law, Rachel, to showcase her wealth and authority. She had always been the one to organize these trips, booking the most luxurious places and making sure everything was perfect, according to her standards. The invitation arrived via text, not from Joe, but directly from Rachel. It was a message dripping with her usual condescension. Remember to pack casual clothes for the beach house this weekend. Nothing fancy. It's just family. The fact that she felt the need to add that last part about being just family didn't sit well with me. But I decided to ignore it, chalking it up to her usual way of doing things. What they didn't know is that I had built my company from the ground up, turning struggling beachfront properties into a multi-million-dollar resort empire. I wasn't just the hotel receptionist they thought I was. But for the sake of peace, and at Joe's insistence, I had let them believe whatever they wanted. He always said it was easier this way, that his mother was set in her ways and wouldn't understand someone like me being successful. The truth started unraveling one evening when I came home early from work. I heard Rachel chatting on the phone with my sister-in-law, Lily, in our guest room. I was about to announce my presence when their words stopped me cold. The private investigator confirmed it, Rachel was saying, her voice excited. Sarah's hiding something big. Some kind of major asset or inheritance. Joe says she's always working late, always on calls about properties and investments. Lily's voice crackled through the speaker. And you're sure Joe's on board with the plan? Of course he is, Rachel replied. He knows this marriage was a mistake. Once we figure out what she's worth, we can help him protect his interests before he leaves her for Jessica. The prenup won't matter if we can prove she concealed assets. My heart stopped. Jessica, the young, beautiful lawyer from Joe's firm who had been showing up at family events lately. The same Jessica who Joe had been working late nights with. Jessica's much better suited for this family anyway, Lily chimed in. Her father practically owns half of downtown. Rachel's voice dripped with satisfaction. Joe definitely needs to trade up. I stood there, frozen, as they continued plotting. They planned to use this beach vacation to search through my things, to find documentation about my company. They had even hired someone to try to hack into my phone while I was sleeping. But the worst betrayal came when I heard Joe's voice join the conversation. Mom, are you sure about this? Sarah's not stupid. She's actually pretty clever with business stuff. Darling, Rachel cooed. Trust me. This is for the best. You deserve someone of our class, someone like Jessica. We'll help you get rid of this gold digger before she can take advantage of you. I felt sick to my stomach. 5 years of marriage, and this was what my husband really thought of me. This was the man I had supported through law school, the man I had loved enough to keep my success a secret just to make his ego feel better. Instead of confronting them immediately, I decided to play along. I needed to understand the full scope of their plan, to gather evidence of their conspiracy. I contacted my company's legal team and head of security, setting up a careful trap of my own. The beach house they'd chosen for the vacation was, ironically, one of my properties. It was one of the first resorts I'd purchased and renovated, though they'd booked it through a third party and had no idea. I had every security camera, every room, every phone line monitored. The first few days of the vacation were a masterclass in passive-aggressive warfare. Rachel made constant jabs about my clothes, my manners, my background. Lily paraded Jessica around, making sure to mention her family's wealth and connections at every opportunity. And Joe. Joe just watched it all with a weak smile, occasionally throwing me apologetic glances, but never standing up for me. The final straw came when my security team caught Rachel and Lily on camera, not just planning to search my belongings, but actually attempting to tamper with my food and drink. They were adding some kind of powder to my wine, likely hoping to incapacitate me so they could search my phone and laptop while I was sick. That was when I decided to end their little game. I had more than enough evidence now. The recordings of their conversations, the footage of them tampering with my food, documentation of their attempts to hack my devices. It was time to show them exactly who they had been trying to destroy. I waited until dinner, when Rachel was in the middle of another one of her subtle takedowns. Really? I don't know why you insist on wearing that Target dress to dinner. We have standards here. Right, Joe? Joe shifted uncomfortably, but didn't say anything. He never did. And that was when I knew, with absolute certainty, that my marriage was over. I stood up, walked over to the door, and led in my security team and legal representatives. John, my head of security, stepped forward and addressed the room formally. Mrs. Smith, is everything all right? Rachel's face went white. Who are you? She demanded, her voice sharp. How dare you interrupt our family dinner? I smiled, reaching into my purse to pull out my CEO keycard and ID badge. Actually, Rachel, I do need to handle this, I said, my voice calm but unwavering. As owner and CEO of Sapphire Bay Resorts, I'm afraid I have to inform you that your reservation has been canceled. The room went dead silent. Joe's fork dropped his plate. Owner, Rachel whispered, her voice trembling. Yes, I replied, my voice even. Owner of this resort and the entire chain. All 17 properties, actually. And since you violated multiple terms of your rental agreement, attempting to poison another guest, for instance, I'm exercising my right to terminate your stay. I turned to my legal team. Please present Mrs. Smith and her family with the evidence packages we've prepared. You'll find detailed documentation of your conspiracy to commit fraud, attempted poisoning, and corporate espionage. I'm sure the police will find it very interesting. The room erupted into chaos. Rachel screamed about how I had tricked them. Lily burst into tears. Jessica tried to slip away, but was stopped by security. And Joe, he just sat there, his face ashen, finally realizing what he had thrown away. I've also made arrangements for you to be escorted off the property, I continued. John, please escort everyone out. Their belongings will be sent to whatever accommodations they can find in town. Though I should warn you, I own all the luxury properties in a 50-mile radius. You might want to try the Motel 6. As they were being escorted out, I turned to Joe. Oh, and darling, expect divorce papers in the morning. Don't worry about the prenup. I think we have enough evidence here to void it completely. My lawyers will be in touch about the criminal charges. The aftermath was exactly what you'd expect. The divorce proceedings revealed even more than I had initially discovered. During the discovery phase, my lawyers uncovered a series of emails between Joe and Rachel dating back to the beginning of our marriage. They had been planning this for years, waiting for the right moment to upgrade his wife to someone more suitable. The emails showed how they had vetted various potential replacements before settling on Jessica, who came from old money and had the right pedigree, according to Rachel. What hurt the most wasn't the betrayal itself. It was realizing that Joe had never really loved me at all. He had seen me as a stepping stone, someone to help him through law school and establish his career before he moved on to someone his mother approved of. The fact that I had hidden my success from him, trying to protect his ego, seemed laughably ironic now. The divorce court judge was particularly interested in one email chain where Joe and Rachel discussed various ways to provoke me into leaving him, which would have helped them avoid paying any settlement under our prenup. Their plans ranged from emotional manipulation to outright criminal behavior. The judge's face grew stonier with each piece of evidence presented. In the end, the judgment was devastating for Joe. Not only did the judge invalidate our prenup due to his bad faith actions, but she also awarded me substantial damages for the emotional distress and potential physical harm their conspiracy had caused. Joe's law license was suspended pending an ethics investigation, and Rachel found herself facing criminal charges for the attempted poisoning. The fallout in their social circle was swift and merciless. Rachel's carefully curated image as a philanthropic socialite crumbled as news of her actions spread through their community. Her charity friends, who she had always lorded over, turned their backs on her. The country club quietly asked her to resign her membership. Even her bridge club, which she had dominated for 15 years, voted her out. Lily's marriage collapsed spectacularly when her husband discovered she had known about the poisoning plan. He filed for divorce and full custody of their children, using her involvement in the conspiracy as evidence of her unfitness as a mother. Last I heard, she was living in a small apartment on the unfashionable side of town, working as a receptionist. Ironically, the very job she had once mocked me for supposedly having. Jessica's career trajectory took an equally steep dive. The law firm where she and Joe worked conducted their own investigation and found evidence that she had helped them plot against me, even using firm resources to research ways to circumvent my company's security. She was fired for cause and reported to the Bar Association. Her wealthy family, embarrassed by the scandal, cut her off financially. She ended up moving back home to Connecticut, her dreams of becoming a high-powered attorney in shambles. The beach house became my favorite property, a symbol of my emergence from the shadows. I renovated it completely, erasing every trace of that fateful weekend. The room where Rachel had plotted against me became my home office, where I ran my expanding business empire. The dining room where I had exposed their scheme was transformed into a bright, welcoming space where I hosted charity events for domestic violence survivors and women entrepreneurs. As for me, I finally stepped fully into the spotlight, no longer hiding my success to make others comfortable. My resort chain expanded to 25 properties, and I made sure each one had strict policies against guest harassment and tampering with food or drink, a little reminder of the lesson I learned about standing up for myself. Sometimes I drive by the beach house and remember that dinner, the night I finally showed them who I really was. The best revenge, as they say, is success. But I have to admit, watching Rachel Smith realize she had tried to con the owner of the very house she was standing in, that was pretty satisfying too.